Today, Bill Clinton was getting out there spreading his slop for Hillary Clinton in Chicago. And he, every once in a while, Bill Clinton, through that smiley, smarmy, sickening look that he always has on his face, every once in a while, he will say things that I think reveal his real personality, his inner prick, you might say. He made some harsh comments to reporters. He was asked why Hillary Clinton isn't doing better than she is, at least in the polling today in Illinois. And he said, he looked at the reporter, he said, "I think you know the answer to that." And then he appeared to draw a contrast between Sanders and Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton said there should be a race for president. I don't know what that means. There's a blame candidate and a responsibility candidate in this race. I bet the responsibility candidate is going to win. Now, he's talking about Hillary there, the responsibility candidate. This is what these bastards do, Republicans and Democrats alike, but especially Republicans, especially these evil bastards like Bill Clinton. If you point out Bill Clinton's record, for example, signing the Defense of Marriage Act, signing NAFTA, signing the end of Glass-Steagall, signing end of poverty as we know it, signing the 3 strikes and you're out bill, all this bullshit that he did that had such a powerfully negative effect on this country. If you question that or point it out, you're blaming. Now, the Republicans do that too. These sons of bitches, none of them can handle the truth. So when you say, Bill Clinton, you signed NAFTA and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs left this country because the capitalist pigs who run this country decided to go where the labor's cheap. Oh, you're blaming. See, you're just blaming. There's a blaming candidate. That would be that socialist. And then there's a responsibility candidate. That'd be Hillary. Wow. So it is looking pretty grim. What I'm hoping for, and it's come to this, I'm afraid that it's time for us Sanders supporters to continue to support him. Oh, hell yes, continue to push. But the numbers don't lie. Do you understand me? The numbers, unless the numbers do lie when the voting machines are tampered with or when the Supreme Court awards the presidency to the prick that lost. But numbers like these, the raw numbers that are rolling in, they speak volumes about what is going on with the electorate. And it appears that what is going on is that people are terrified of change. Now, we all know that change is difficult for, there's a scale, as a matter of fact, a stress scale where it concerns change. The change you go through when your spouse dies. I think that's at the top of the list as a stress producer. The stress you go through when you move. The stress you go through when your children leave the nest. I mean, there's a whole list of things. But the stress that is generated when the American public is told, look, you've been fucked over for 35 years. You have been lied to. The lies are going to continue with Hillary Clinton. If you think Hillary Clinton is going to, break up the banks, which is code words for bringing an end to predatory capitalism, you're kidding yourself. She's not going to do it. This is a woman that got $11 million from these predatory bastards. She's going to now go back and kick their asses. George Soros signed on to the Clinton campaign today and is willing to give millions because he's afraid of Trump. Not Bernie Sanders, obviously. Soros is the capitalist sine qua non. George Soros. the one that the right-wingers love to throw in liberals' faces. However, what Sanders can still do is stay in. He can continue to pick up delegates. He can continue, even if he, takes second place to Hillary over and over and over again in these states that are proportional delegate, depending on how many votes you get. Sanders could wind up at the convention with enough delegates to insist on certain planks in the Democratic Party platform that Hillary Clinton would then have to run on. So I hope, well, I know he will. I mean, Sanders already made it very clear he's not going anywhere. It doesn't make any difference what happens here on Second Super Tuesday and this other bullshit, the way it's been labeled. So as Sanders continues to slog along and pick up as many delegates as he can, it may not be a brokered convention, but it will be a convention where Sanders has tremendous influence in how the Democratic Party platform is going to run. And I'll tell you something else. I think Sanders is a harbinger of the way the Democratic Party is going to go. He is decimating Hillary Clinton where it concerns the youth vote. White youth, black youth, Latino youth, just young people. And I think it's too late for people over 35 or 40. That's the way they see it anyway. I don't see it that way. But people over a certain line in terms of age, I guess figure, hey, I'm too old for the change. I can't go through the change that would be necessary if Bernie Sanders were to be elected. Because Sanders, he may be a Democratic socialist, but he's a socialist nonetheless, and he has ideas. This is what the average American would think, I think. He has ideas that are so foreign to me. I don't know what he means. What does he mean? Anybody know what he means? Sanders has been trying his goddamnedest to get the word out. But he has had to deal with media that refuse, utterly and absolutely refuse, to present him the way they present Hillary Clinton, even though Hillary Clinton, along with her useless goddamn husband, the Republican Bill Clinton, worked together to screw the American middle class so badly. Now, nobody noticed. You know why? Because when Clinton signed all this shit back in at the end of his second term, from 95 on, it takes a while for the ripple effect to work down to people in the trenches like you and me. And at the same time, there was a tech boom, a dot-com boom going on in this country. Unemployment was practically non-existent. Jobs were every place. That didn't last long, did it? And because jobs were every place, the debt was paid off in this country. There was no national debt. And we had started to pay down, there was no budget deficit. What the hell's wrong with you, Mike? Of course. But they were starting to pay down the national debt. But the budget deficit sank to zero until the Bush crime family took over. So when Bush took over and immediately cut $1.3 trillion in taxes that was going to pay down the national debt and keep the budget balanced. When Bush did that, and NAFTA kicked in, and all of a sudden, the factory jobs that were the backbone of this country for so long. Say what we will about the pollution and the environmental chaos that so many of these manufacturing jobs produced. That could have been dealt with if we just would have waked up. That could have been dealt with. But all those jobs left. Bill Clinton was the greatest president that China ever had. He sent millions of jobs to the Chinese people and to the Indian people and to, for God's sake, the Vietnamese, not to mention the Mexicans and the Colombians. People want to know why everybody's so pissed off. It's not difficult to figure out why everybody's pissed off. If you spent 20 years working at a certain manufacturing skill, and then all of a sudden your job is gone, and nobody can give you a reasonable answer why. Why did they leave? Why did the factory shut down? Why did the manufacturer leave Illinois or Ohio or Indiana or Alabama? Why did that happen? Jesus Christ, we were doing a good job. We were making money. We had money in our city treasury. I had a car. My kids were going to go to college. How did this happen? It happened because of Bill Clinton and the other Republicans that ran this country in the second half of the decade of the 90s. And now, when Bernie Sanders represents a way out, not a way back to anything. You know, Trump is out there jerking people off, just ramming it up people's asses with these lies and this deception. And the right-wing bastards are just gobbling it up. Trump wants to go back to, I don't know what he wants to go back to. Racism? Jim Crow laws? I have no idea. But you can't go back. Time only goes one direction, if time exists at all. But you can't go backwards. So Hillary Clinton as president is going to be Bill Clinton's third term, which is not to take anything away from Hillary Clinton. Let's put it this way. It will be Bill and Hillary's third term.